Lawakay kajing dapsisnam ka Abraham akot ha kajing yaran rengkat u ambassador ka UN u ambassador kari Amerika bat kiwai de ki ambassador jeng kiri ke pertai hapok Jerusalem. Kai kene ka Abraham akot. Ka Abraham akot kedai kajing te hap deng kari Israel bat kiwai pat kiri ki badan kiri Arab. Ka United Arab Emirates kala soy kajing te kular bat ka ri Israel. Sisna menshwa bat knang bandon kajing syong sup ban kentiu ya ki kam jengok kai pertai ki kam khai pateng ban Kristyan bat ban ai jing Kristyan iwei pat ban kentiu ya ki teknologi bat kiwai de. Ka Bahrain Sudan bat Morocco ro sian kin yasnok tilang hakane ka Abraham akot. Kini kiri ki bempat Jordan ke jinyata lok bat kari Israel. Ndai sian kila sedang mendung si kane ka jinyata Yasuk lengba kane ka Abraham akot. Ka jing sup bat ka jing syong sngan kadai ka bangi ki breu bat kumcu kiri jong ke pertai kiai kwa bandon ya ka badai ni kadai ka daw ba kiri hapok Middle East ki badan hapling ka jing ya kanat borobor ki trang bandon ya kadai ka jing sup kari Israel ka trang bandon ban im sup bat ki paramarjan jong ka kumta kilaya soy kane ka jing ya tak kular jing sup ya ka balatip kum ka Abraham akot. Ndrai upol upen kan mau pat yangi. Haka siti ka jong u. Syaki tesel ni ka banengkong. Kalanang ka basan, ka dekat ka ba. Nengkong haduk ka balay. Bahaki sengi ki bakat du. Kat baki dang ong ka jingsuk. Ndrai ka jingjot bakansan kan sawan. Kat bagi dang saki bat yu i dalaki kemat. Baki jingatul pa haka Bible lanangay pendap. Kum kitma, kinam snew, ki jingyap tem, ki jingyala persya apdeng siying sisem, ka jingyapan yap namal ka jingid lanang man krep. Ki jumay, ki babun, ki balaknyo ki jaka ki babun. Wat menin ro ujumay bajur laknyo hapok ri China. Haka bala simno ya ki laingut ki mensembriu. Bat lapan mansaw ya kumba prapu prangut. Ni iba kini ki jingjia ya ki balatok haka Bible lanang ya pendek syat. Bat ngilak ban sakhi ban yo i hapok ki kubar hapok ki TV bat hapok ki internet. Iyo ban sakhi da ka kmat bat ban yo asngu da ki skor. Baya kini ki jingjia barok ki balatok balaya tulpah haka Bible lanang ya pendek. Kai ke bangidai bendai kum ki bangin. Kai ke bangidai bendai kalong bangin long kum udan ya. Imdai ban supet kai, ndai ngin duai na benta ka ribet ka jat bandai juni. Baki breu juni kin jet ya usim jong ka jingsuk. Namar day tang u badan ka jingsuk basisha.
Play in making them a success for which we thank them very much. Thank you, Linda. The fact that the Accords have received such strong bipartisan support is a testament to their great importance. After presenting a vision of coexistence, peace, and prosperity, our nations quickly began turning words into actions. Our governments have inaugurated diplomatic offices in each other's countries, and they have signed dozens of MOUs promoting collaboration on culture, on trade, climate, innovation, and many, many more. These steps are vital to laying the groundwork for long-term, meaningful relationships. However, governments can sign million MOUs, and it won't make a real difference if the people do not translate them into a new reality on the ground. If they are not transformed into a warm, people-to-people peace. Today, as we celebrate the one-year anniversary of the Accords, it is clear that deep and unbreakable friendships have been established at an unprecedented pace. Our peoples are learning each other's languages and realizing how much the sons of Abram truly have in common, as they share a kosher meal in Manama, Marrakesh, or Dubai. Our universities are establishing exchange programs so that the next generation of Israelis, Moroccans, Bahrainis, and Emiratis can study alongside one another and tackle the world's most pressing challenges together. Every day we hear of a new shared business venture. Sometimes it is Israelis growing avocados in Morocco, and other times it is Emiratis purchasing a substantial stake in one of Israel's most important gas fields, Tamar. The examples are endless, as are the opportunities. In a couple of days, Maya will turn 1 month old. It's not my daughter. Maya is the first Israeli child born in the UAE. Yeah, exciting. She will never know a world where Israelis were not accepted in the region. She and the next generation in the Middle East, both Jews and Arabs, will grow up in a fundamentally new region, an atmosphere in which peace and friendship between Israel and its neighbors will feel inevitable, in which tolerance and coexistence are not just ideas, but the reality they experience every day. I strongly believe that as others in the region see the fruits of our partnerships and feel this transformation, they will join our circle of peace. Perhaps even the Palestinians, as they see the benefits of our peace and the prosperity it brings, will finally view these accords as an opportunity and not a threat. Friends, the 1-year anniversary of the Abraham Accords falls in the 10-day period between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, when Jews around the world reflect on the past year and pray for the future. As we usher in the new year, I can confidently say that both our governments and our peoples have built the foundation for a new era in the Middle East. In this coming year, I hope to see us continuing to build new partnerships and working together to promote pragmatism and coexistence over extremism and intolerance. The moderate countries in the Middle East must unite to tackle our shared challenges, such as climate change, and form a regional alliance to confront our shared threats, first and foremost, Iran. Such an alliance could share intelligence about different threats and even collaborate on defensive capabilities. Can you imagine Israeli air defense systems like Iron Dome protecting the airspace of our new partners in the Gulf? Maybe one day even Saudi Arabia. So I want to take this opportunity to thank my dear friends, Lana, Jamal, Omar, and of course, Linda. It has been an honor and a privilege to work with you this past year, strengthening the ties between our countries and ensuring the success of the Accords. I look forward to continuing to work together for the benefit of our countries, the region, and the entire world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Erdan. In a show of bold leadership, on August 13th, 2020, the United Arab Emirates was the first country to announce its intentions of normalizing relations with Israel, sending a clear message of renewed hope for peace and prosperity throughout the Middle East. It is now my honor to introduce Her Excellency Ambassador Lana Nuseibeh, Permanent Representative of the United Arab Emirates to the United Nations.
Thank you, Gilad, for your very kind words and your very warm welcome here today. And Shana Tova, and welcome to all of you, especially all my PR colleagues who I know are stressing currently about the high-level week that is about to start, and the delegations of heads of states and foreign ministers who are about to arrive, and potentially the lack of meetings they have to send them to. So I know we're all going through a little bit of a stress thinking about their schedules. So thank you for joining us despite that in this historic and important location to mark the first anniversary of the signing of the Abraham Accords. And 1 year ago at the signing of the Accords at the White House, my Foreign Minister, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, said, "I stand here today to extend a hand of peace and receive a hand of peace." And this extending of hands certainly has been mutual between the countries represented here today. And for us in the United Arab Emirates, the peace with Israel, as Ambassador Gilad has said, has been a warm peace. And we anticipated some of these achievements. We anticipated the new investments, the academic partnerships, the joint research initiatives to advance renewable energy, water security, and public health. What we perhaps did not anticipate, and what we have been inspired, in fact, to witness, is how the creativity and the curiosity of our people truly ignited once these political impediments were removed. Emiratis and Israelis have not lost any time in finding each other online, exploring and embracing our respective cultures, and booking a seat on those first El Al, Etihad and Emirates flights between our countries with kosher meals served on board for the first time. And today our reunions and our celebrations are enthusiastically documented on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. And we've only just begun, I think, to explore the opportunity for these accords in our wider region. And of course, as the world continues to recover from the pandemic, I think the ties between all of our countries will continue to deepen and grow in ways that benefit not just the people of our countries, but the entire Middle East region. The flourishing of the Jewish community in the UAE, the first new Jewish community established in an Arab country in centuries, is just one proof of how the three Abrahamic religions can live and work side by side in our region in peace. And as we face this multitude of shared challenges in our region, it's also our hope that the optimism the Accords generate for the youth of our region can also lead to a lasting agreement between the Palestinians and the Israelis, who also deserve both to live in peace and security. The road ahead will inevitably include disappointments and setbacks, and we don't live in a perfect world, but we want to live in an optimistic one. I'm confident that as we mark the anniversary of the signing of the Abraham Accords in future years, the courage and vision of the countries entering into this agreement will turn out to have stood the test of time, as the Abraham Accords, we hope, God willing, will lead to a more stable, more peaceful and more prosperous Middle East for all. Thank you again for being with us here today and for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Nusseibeh. The Kingdom of Bahrain is known for promoting peace and has long advocated that cooperation is the best way to achieve peace. By normalizing relations with Israel, Bahrain helped turn the Abraham Accords into a movement of peace. It is now my honor to introduce His Excellency Ambassador Jamal Faris Al-Rai, Permanent Representative of the Kingdom of Bahrain to the United Nations.
First of all, I would like to thank Ambassador Gilad for, your warm welcoming. And it's a pleasure to see all my colleagues here, ready and full of energy for the high-level week. So it's a great pleasure to join my colleague in welcoming you here today to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the signing of the historic peace agreement, the Abraham Accord. I also thank Her Excellency Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield for being with us and for the role of the United States in bringing about this important step toward a true and lasting peace, security, and prosperity in the region. Bahrain, under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, King of the Kingdom of Bahrain, and with the support of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Bahrain, believes that peace in the region is based on coexistence, mutual understanding, and genuine cooperation. These are the values that have characterized Bahrain and its people for centuries, with its openness to the world and the diverse society that embraces all regions and faiths in peace and harmony. We remain committed to peace as a strategic choice to promote stability and prosperity in the region and beyond. Since the establishment of relations between Bahrain and Israel, our two countries have made remarkable progress in strengthening and developing our bilateral ties. We have signed several MOUs across a range of fields, setting the framework for a fruitful and promising cooperation that contribute to peace and development in the region. The recent arrival of the Ambassador of Bahrain to Tel Aviv and the upcoming official inauguration of the Embassy of Bahrain are another milestone in our growing bilateral relations as we continue our joint effort to translate the vision of the peace agreement into reality. Excellencies, we in Bahrain seek to advance the values of coexistence, tolerance, and harmony for the benefits of humanity. Indeed, as we face the COVID-19 pandemic, we are all reminded us that we must put aside our differences and work together in a spirit of mutual respect and trust to overcome our shared challenges. We are all in this together. For our region, we believe that a just and comprehensive peace is the best guarantee for the future of all our people, and will continue to work with our friends and international partners to achieve such peace and meet the people's aspiration for security, stability, and prosperity. And thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Ambassador al-Hawaii. Only a few short months after Israel, the UAE, and Bahrain met on the White House lawn to sign the Abraham Accords, the Kingdom of Morocco announced that it would be normalizing relations with Israel, demonstrating their commitment to coexistence and religious tolerance. This was another milestone in the long relationship between the Jewish people and Morocco. It is now my honor to invite His Excellency Ambassador Omar Hilal, Permanent Representative of the Kingdom of Morocco to the United Nations, to deliver his remarks.
Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Dear Jalal, Lana, Linda, and my dear brother Ambassador of Bahrain, Jamal, dear colleagues, we are gathered here today to celebrate the landmark 1-year anniversary of the Abraham Accord, an opportunity to assess the impact and reflect together on what lies ahead of us. For the Kingdom of Morocco, this joyous celebration is a dedication to strengthen and expanding the ties created by this historic accords, and for accelerating the positive transformation of our region, for increasing stability, security, prosperity for us, and for the future generations. The recent official visit of the Israeli Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Yair Lapid, on August 12th to the Kingdom of Morocco, and the holding of series of bilateral and regional reflects the commitment of Morocco and Israel to strengthen their bilateral relations and give them a concrete impetus through the establishment of flexible and effective cooperation mechanisms. Additionally, political consultations between our two senior officials concluded to move forward in the development of few agreements to facilitate for new agreements to facilitate investment, trade, and scientific research. Today, we are reaping the fruits of positive dynamic momentum that was given to our relations since the signing last December of the tripartite agreements between Morocco, Israel, and the United States, leading to the creation of 5 working groups covering promising sectors such as research and innovation, tourism, aviation, agriculture, energy, environment, trade, and investment. Above all, our relationship draws its strength from the long-standing attachment of the Jewish community of Moroccan origin to the kingdom and unfailing links between this community and the sovereign His Majesty the King Mohammed VI, the commander of the faithful and the protector of Moroccans of all faith and beliefs. Moroccan Jews have lived and continue to live in Morocco with their Muslim brothers in peace and harmony. Morocco, with its long tradition of religious and spiritual tolerance, where coexistence between religions has been a reality for more than 12 centuries, and under the far-sighted leadership of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, all will continue to provide the space for coexistence and human interaction to promote peace worldwide. As my minister said when he was meeting with Foreign Minister Yair Lapid, and I quote, "We aspire to enrich our relations with human dimension, one of the manifestations of which was the recent inauguration of direct flights between the two countries and the enthusiasm that has aroused among Israelis of Moroccan origin and the pride of their attachment of the person of His Majesty King." End of quote. To conclude, allow me to reiterate Morocco's long-standing commitments and unwavering endeavor to peace, security, prosperity on the one-year celebration of the historic Abraham Accords. And I would add one more conclusion to tell you, dear Jalad, that I totally agree with you when you say that our region is tired of war. Our region suffered a lot from all kinds of extremism, terrorism, and rejection of the other. Our region is in need of real peace. And as you said, we need a warm peace. We need peace in hearts. We need peace in minds. And we need peace as objective, strategical objective, as my brother Jamal just said, and peace as horizon for us, but for also the next generations. Our children deserve that we prepare for them better future and give them better horizon. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ambassador Hilal. While the decision to forge a new future for the Middle East was made by the leaders of the countries, the previous US administration played a key role in bringing them together. Then presidential candidate Biden immediately embraced the accords, and since President Biden took office, we have been working closely with his administration to expand and deepen them. It is now my honor to introduce Her Excellency Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield, representative of the United States of America to the United Nations.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the introduction. It really is an honor for me to be here today to celebrate this historic event, and I'm delighted to be here with the Ambassador of UAE, of Morocco, and Bahrain. And I want to thank particularly Ambassador Erdogan for organizing this important event. The normalization agreements we're commemorating today have demonstrated real progress toward a more peaceful region. But perhaps what is most remarkable is that in the past year, we've gone from ink on a page to concrete improvements between countries. Since the accords were signed, Israel has opened embassies in the UAE and in Bahrain, and both the UAE and Bahrain have appointed their first ambassadors to Israel. Congratulations. And just last month, Israel and Morocco agreed to upgrade their missions to full embassies within 2 months. Meanwhile, Etihad Airlines has launched flights from Abu Dhabi to Israel, while El Al Airline is planning 2 flight routes to Morocco. Dubai hosted a global investment conference prominently featuring Israeli investors and businessmen. And perhaps most importantly, both the UAE and Bahrain for the first time observed Holocaust Remembrance Day. Clearly, we want to build on this model and replicate this success. And let me be clear, the United States is committed. The United States is committed to strengthening and expanding on these agreements. That means pushing for more headway among those who have already signed the agreements, such as those here at the table in Sudan, and also reaching additional agreements with more Arab and Muslim countries to extend the circle of peace. I am also determined to explore how we can translate these agreements into progress within the UN system. Events like this point us in that right direction. At the same time, I want to be clear that we will continue, as we continue to pursue normalization between Israel and neighboring countries, we remain committed to a 2-state solution. We firmly believe Israelis and Palestinians deserve equal measures of freedom, dignity, security, and prosperity. And U.S. diplomacy will remain focused on practical steps to advance that vision in the immediate term. It is our hope that these agreements, which are important in and of themselves, also generate momentum between Israel and the Palestinians. Peace begets peace, and friendships begets relationships. And that is what we are here to commemorate and to honor today. So thank you, ambassadors. Thank you, everyone, for being here today, for choosing the path toward peace. I hope that this time next year, we're celebrating even more positive steps toward a more peaceful region in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Thomas Greenfield. That concludes our program for today. On behalf of the permanent missions of Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Morocco, I want to thank you all again for joining us to celebrate the anniversary of the Abraham Accords and wish you all a Shana Tova. Thank you very much.